Hey everybody, Phil Friedman here from 976 Tuna, and welcome on board the Tunanator. Randy Carpenter and the great folks on board are all set to make the 220-mile journey from Point Loma, San Diego, off to Guadalupe Island. Stay tuned and join us for what promises to be a fabulous trip. Great food, great friends, flat calm seas await us as we take off on the Tunanator. Come join us at Guadalupe Island.
Here we are, Lion's Face, do a little bit of yellowtail fishing. Take one.
Jimmy Gilmore back there in the stern, and I'll tell you, the action got going right away. Tremendous yellowtail action. Although it wasn't on a huge grade of yellowtail, it sure was fun, and the fish were raining on. The guys were throwing bait, throwing the iron. It didn't seem to matter. The fish wanted to bite these rich ocean waters around Guadalupe Island. And you know, although it's only a 220-mile run to the island, you feel as though you're 1,000 miles away from anything at all. It's just such a fascinating place. This 100-square-mile island is home to more than 34 endemic plants, 7 endemic bird species, all kinds of breeding seabirds. In fact, more than are in California and in Washington, and more than 29 endemic invertebrates. To say that the ocean is full of life at Guadalupe Island is a sure understatement. Kids and crime. It's a far too familiar story coming out of our inner cities where drugs, gangs, and violence are a part of just too many kids' lives. But now you can do something about it. Did you know the 976 Tuna Youth Fishing Program took over 30,000 kids fishing over the past decade? We need your help if we're going to continue this program. You can donate food, funds, you can donate old fishing equipment, your car, a boat, and you can make a difference in a kid's life. Make sure you give us a call today and make a child's future bright. Welcome on back on board the Tunanator at Guadalupe Island. Jeff is on board, Jim, man. Paul, Dan, Randy, Mark, and Terrence. And take a look at the size of one of these big, beautiful Guadalupe Island calico bass.
That's a big bass, Bubba. That's a bass and a half, man. That's Guadalupe calico. Right, that's bigger than Trinidad Reef, Randy. That kicks San Clemente bass right there, baby. That's bass fishing.
That kind of calico bass action is steady. You can do it all day long if you want to. And catching and releasing these beautiful bass is just a part of the Guadalupe Island fishing experience. You know, back in the late 1800s, goats and cats were introduced to Guadalupe Island, and they all but devastated the island. Feral cats caused the extinction of 3 endemic birds and ate all but just a few of the seabirds left over. Goats grazed on the island and really gnawed it down to a bare rock, leaving many endemic plants surviving only on inaccessible cliffs.
But there's a restoration project going on right now. The elimination of most of the goats and cats has led to a resurgence in the island's life. And it's a beautiful thing to see as the island is growing green once again. More of these big, beautiful calico bass coming on board the Tunanator. And there's still yellowtails zooming around. And of course, you always have to keep your eyes peeled for one of those big monsters. Great white sharks are all over Guadalupe Island. Everywhere you look on the Tunanator, somebody else is pulling on a fish, somebody else is bit, or somebody's just taking time to take in the beautiful environment around you.
Tuna all day. Come to the island and find some bass and yellowtail, one after another, wide open bite, non-stop, brother. A lot of fun.
Guadalupe Island is considered one of the best spots in the world for sightings of great white sharks. That could be because of its large population of pinnipeds. So far, so good. The bass are coming on and the sharks are leaving us alone. There's Jimmy pulling on another nice fish. Man, this stuff's just as full speed and wide open as it can possibly be. Of course, taking in all the beauty around you makes it so special. And man, I'll tell you, it's just a day's run there. If you do 10 knots, it's a day's run. But once again, you feel like you're in an entirely different, unique, and beautiful world. That's it. Follow that fish as it screams up toward the bow. Another yellowtail making a run and pulling line against the drag. And you just got to get your track shoes on and keep it right in front of you. This is part of the beauty of Guadalupe Island. On the inshore region, you have a variety of different species, including parrotfish and all kinds of different rockfish. Of course, you've got the yellowtail and the calico bass. And then offshore, well, there's bluefin and there's yellowfin, and you'll get a look at that in just a moment. If variety is indeed the spice of life, Guadalupe Island has it all for you. From the climate to the rough geography to all the different species of life that are underneath your feet when you're on a boat. It is truly a remarkable place to go. Just a wonderful time of inshore fishing with bass and yellowtail raining on and keeping everyone busy. But in a moment, it's time to head offshore and see if we can't find some yellowfin tuna.
Yeah, babe. Go right in next to him. Hold it up on the gas. He ate that sardine.
Tunanator, this is Romulus. Come in.
Yeah, go ahead.
Hey, it's really starting to happen. We got another one on. We've been getting bit, and they're crashing around the boat. Come on over.
All right, man. Thanks for the invite. Hey, Randy. Romulus, this is I just sent me their boiler. He's putting another one on, and they're crashing around the boat. He said, come on over. Let's go. Backing up to him.
Nothing like a little help from your friends, and that call from a yacht that was bit on YFT was a welcome one. We were pulling our anchor and heading over there just as fast as we could. Royal Polaris skipper Frank LaPreste likes to say this about Guadalupe Island in terms of fishing. You may not catch the most fish you will in your life, but you just might catch the biggest one. Currently, the Pacific bluefin tuna record hails from Guadalupe Island, a fish that was just under 400 pounds. And a 77-pound yellowtail also is a world record out of the rich waters of Guadalupe Island.
Straight up. Straight up. Straight up.
A little more toil, a little more sweat, a lot more work when you're fishing tuna. They like to head down and out and pull line off the reel. And you gotta hang in there and pull right back if you expect to land one of these nice yellowfin tuna. Guadalupe Island has a rugged landscape. It consists of two ancient, overlapping shield volcanoes, and it rises to a height of 4,257 feet at the northern end of Mount Augusta. The southern part of the island is mostly barren, but there are fertile valleys and trees in the northern part, and as we mentioned, the island is coming back to life, slowly but surely. The coastline is beautiful, consisting of rocky bluffs with detached rocks. It's just a beautiful sight.
Straight up.
And there's a famous gap in the island, you'll see, separates one gap from the other. We call it Tuna Alley. And Tuna Alley is where some of the real heavy-duty rock and roll tuna bites take place at the Loop. Jimmy Gilmore giving it all he's got, man. I'm telling you, what a battle. but Jimmy knows how to pull on a fish. I've watched this guy and fish with this guy for several years, and there isn't anybody on this coast much better than Jimmy Gilmore.
Color.
Straight up. Straight up.
For those of you who don't have a private boat and you're wondering about a sport boat trip to Guadalupe Island, there are several out of San Diego. Great boats. Most of the time, a 5-day trip will get you there and give you 3 days of great fishing time.
Straight up.
Spring, summer, and fall all can be marvelous times to be at Guadalupe Island. The fall, however, is when you normally see the yellowfin tuna, occasionally some wahoo, and of course a whole mess of those big toothy critters, those great white sharks.
Farewell and adieu to you fair Spanish ladies.
And it's only fair that Randy Carpenter, the owner of the Tunanator, gets hooked up. And he's hooked up onto a nice fish. You can see it pulling string right off the reel, and Randy's right on top of it. I got to tell you something about the technique Randy's using here. It's just perfect. Absolutely perfect. There is a time when you just relax, you hold the rod, and you let the fish pull string against the drag. So many people fight it. They fight that, and they end up so tired that they can't finish the fish. So there is a time when that fish is pulling line on you, just let him do it. But the minute he turns his head, the minute he gives you some string, the minute he gives you some slack, you wind down and you start to stroke on him just like Randy is doing right here. And with that Jaws music, Randy, you better pull a lot harder and a lot faster, man. Here comes GW. Oh, you look back there in the background and you see that pristine, beautiful island of Guadalupe, rising to a height of 4,257 feet with Mount Augusta. Shoreline that's been bathed by swells generated by storms 1,000 miles away. It's just such a special place to be.
I'm sorry to listen to that.
I just destroyed my nail. I go home, first thing I need is a manicure. And a pedicure? Okay.
But we don't want that girly belt.
Yeah. Hey, if Dad get a manicure, we've got a problem. Real problem.
Oh, all this life underneath you. Whales, dolphin, yellowfin tuna, bonita, big calico bass, a variety of invertebrates that are so special to just this region. It really makes you one with the ocean. And you know, fishermen want their kids to fall in love with the sea, fall in love with the ocean, so they'll grow up to enjoy it. But moreover, they will grow up to protect it. That's part of the Guadalupe Island experience. It's part of what Randy and the rest of the guys on board are experiencing. The power of the sea, whether it's a big swell or a huge storm, or it's some of the inhabitants that swim around here, those great white sharks, really something. But it begs the question, and it invites contemplation. What can we do to help protect this gorgeous environment of Guadalupe Island and elsewhere? We previously talked about the Guadalupe Island Restoration Project, the elimination of the goats that had consumed so much of the flora and fauna on the island. That's what we can do. We can do positive things to affect the environment. Every single time you tell somebody not to throw that plastic bag in the water, that's another leatherback turtle that's not going to mistake it for a jellyfish. Every single time you stop somebody from polluting this beautiful sea is another coup, another victory for sport fishermen. You can see the camaraderie. Everybody getting hooked up now. Yellows and yellowfin tuna and great white sharks lurking down below. See ya! Pretty tough to beat those great whites, but just another facet of the Guadalupe Island experience. Paulie's hooked up now and doing a fine job. A great guy, member of the LA Rod and Reel Club. They do so much for kids and fishing. In fact, they've helped the 976 Tuna Youth Fishing Program over the years to take hundreds of children fishing. So I guess it's only right that Paulie hooks up to a nice one. A lot of people who don't know about fishing and sport fishing think it's all about catching fish. It's all about killing something in the water. It's so far from that. It's really so far removed from that. It's about the island. It's about the life underneath your feet. It's about the ocean's environment. It's about friends. It's about being out on the water and having a really great time. And you just can't beat an experience like this. 220 miles from San Diego. Less than a drive from LA to Vegas. But you might as well be 1,000 miles away and several hundred years in the past. That's how you feel at Guadalupe Island. It's so pristine, it's so beautiful, and it just takes you away from your life and all the struggles that you have. And it gives you a real break from reality. The reality here is beautiful environment, fun fishing, and a time that you'll not soon forget. Paulie's just another one of the anglers on the Tunanator that knows how to pull on a fish. He knows when to pull, how to pull, and he's illustrating it to perfection right here. When that fish is stripping line against the drag, once again, relax. Let the fish do the work. Let him tire himself out. When he stops, it's time for you to get busy and to get to work. Funny thing about Guadalupe Island, not only do you have to fight the fish, but you got to fight those big predators, those great whites. Paulie's almost got this thing to color. You see the gap back there in the corner. They're ready to lift on another big Guadalupe Island game fish. And Paulie's done a magnificent job, not only with the kids in the LA Rod and Reel Club, but with this particular fish. Oh, and it just doesn't seem to matter what great job you do. When the white shark wants a catch, he's going to get it. Sunrise, Guadalupe Island. More fish starting to bite. Jeff Stevenson. Terrence said he was a great guy to fish with, and now he's on. Another nice big fish at Guadalupe. Typical fall weather also. Flat, calm, gorgeous, sunny in the daytime, a little chilly in the morning, a little chilly at night, but you couldn't ask for better conditions. And as Jeff winds on this last fish, man, I'll tell you, this 100-square-mile island is home to so much, so many dreams, really. We talked about the plants, we talked about the birds, we talked about the great white sharks, the variety of sport fishing that you can experience, the invertebrates, the lobster, the small little population of Avalonian lobster fishermen that live on the island. Mount Augusta rising up to over 4,000 feet. But more than that, it's just the time you spend in Guadalupe Island. Time that most people on the face of this earth will never, ever have the chance to experience. So if your time comes and you get a chance to go to Guadalupe Island, one word of advice: take it. Catch it with 976 tuna on board the Tunanator.